Today we look at different types of real estate brokerages out there, and I give you the key elements that you need to focus on whenever you're selecting which real estate brokerage you're going to go with. If you use this template and focus on these key elements, you're going to save hundreds into thousands of dollars among hundreds of hours by going with the right real estate brokerage from the outset. Hey, it's Jaime. If we're just meeting, welcome to the channel that brings actionable content to grow your business through online marketing. So if that sounds beneficial, consider subscribing. Alright, so let's start off with the big question that gets asked first above everything else a majority of the time, and that is, what is the compensation structure? Because let's face it, when you're selecting your real estate brokerage, you need to know how much you are going to be paid on each transaction. And there's different types of compensation structures, but they all fall into three categories primarily. You have the commission split model, the per transaction model, and the monthly model. Under the commission split model, you have a split of the commission with a portion going to the broker and a portion going to the agent. And the splits are all over the board. You have some brokerages that do a 50-50 split, a 60-40 split, where 60 goes to the agent, 40 to the agent, 70-30, 80-20, where the larger number typically goes to the agent and the smaller number goes to the broker. And if you're talking to a brokerage that has this type of commission split model, it's important that you know when you cap. Meaning, when does the commission split go away? As an example, you may start out with a 70-30 split, and as soon as you pay $24,000 into the brokerage, that's when you become a 100% commissioned agent. So in other words, that 70-30 goes away. Now, if the brokerage doesn't have a cap, then think long and hard if you want to join that brokerage, because after a while, you're going to get some experience. You're going to be doing a lot of transactions to where you're not going to need as much support as you did at the beginning. So the question goes back to you. Do you want to continue paying a 70-30 split for the remainder of your career? That's up to you to decide. As an example, the brokerage that I'm with, which is EXP, has an 80-20 split. And you cap out once you sell $2.66 million in sales volume, which equates to $16,000 being paid to EXP as the brokerage. Now, that type of structure is quite competitive in its own right, but what makes EXP different is that if you go on to become an Icon agent, the $16,000 that you paid into the brokerage gets converted into stock equity for the agent. That's right, what you paid to the brokerage before you capped and became a 100% commissioned agent gets converted into an asset for you, gets converted into stock. Now, before we continue going down a rabbit hole, let's look at the other types of compensation structures. You're going to find brokerages that operate under a per transaction model, which means that you pay into the brokerage whenever there is a transaction. And those fees vary all across the board. You can find a $250 transaction fee, $500, $1,000, $1,500. It varies across the board. And typically, you're going to find them paired up with a monthly fee or a desk fee. And something that's important to note here is that there isn't going to be a cap on these per transaction models. And then lastly, you have a monthly fee model where you pay the broker a certain amount regardless if you do any transaction. So that means if you sold 10 properties that month or 0, you're still paying the same. Now again, those are the three primary compensation structures. You're going to find them out in the wild, being shared in different ways. You're going to see a mixture of this and that, but basically it comes down to those three models. Now with that out of the way, let's focus on resources because they are super important, especially if you're joining a new real estate brokerage. Because regardless, whether you're new or an experienced agent, whenever you go to a new brokerage that is completely new to you, you have to adapt and you have to know what resources are available for you to succeed. You want to know what is available to you. Do they offer CRMs? Do they offer websites? Do they offer email marketing platforms? Do they offer templates? What do they offer? What resources can benefit you to make more sales? And generally, you're going to find the companies that do a commission split compensation model typically give you more resources so as to justify the split that they're offering you, which also means that the per transaction model brokers generally aren't going to offer you that many resources. Now be careful here, because you're going to find that a lot of real estate brokerages out there will offer you the world when it comes to resources. They're going to offer you everything under the sun just to get you to sign up with them. So be sure that you speak with agents that are already with that brokerage ahead of time. This way you know what you're getting yourself into, and if whatever's being promised to you is actually being fulfilled through the other agents as well. As an example, one common benefit that is touted by a ton of real estate brokerages out there is that you're going to get free leads, that they are going to give you leads. But typically, that just manifests itself as you sitting down in the office and doing what's called phone time, which means that you're waiting for people that are driving by listings to call that number on a yard sign, which is typically the office number, and you are there to answer those phone calls. So it's your responsibility to try to convert those potential buyers into clients for you. That's what's commonly referred to as giving you leads. So as another example, I, on the other hand, have taken a completely different approach. Whenever I joined EXP, I have the opportunity to sponsor real estate agents, i.e. grow out my team. And I've taken that opportunity. So with the agents that join me at EXP and I partner with them, I and my team, I and my real estate lead generation team actually do their lead generation for them for free. So that goes way beyond allowing agents to do the typical phone time, because now they're actually getting leads. And I take it one step further. I actually have appointment setters that are helping set the appointments for the agents. So it's an all-in-one system. So anyway, I can see myself going down a rabbit hole. So check out the link in the description. That's going to give you a few more details about that. Let's move over to culture. Culture is super important, and that's why it's vital that you speak with the agents that are already part of the brokerage that you're considering. Don't be afraid to talk to those agents and ask them questions. Ask them, what's the environment like? Is it a positive one? Is it a toxic one? What's it like? And also be specific. Give some scenarios. As an example, what happens if I have an emergency and I all of a sudden can't do my open house? Can somebody else step in? What happens if I'm on vacation? Will somebody else be able to help my clients? What happens if? That's a great question. All right, so let's talk about the very important aspect of support. Who is going to be supporting you? Who is going to be helping you and guiding you along the way? Is there somebody outside of the broker that you can reach out to for support? Or is it only going to be the broker that helps you out? It's very important that you understand the support system right from the outset to avoid any frustration or confusion you may have down the road. So again, you want to be specific here. You want to know who's going to help you with listing presentations, with buyer consultations, with writing a contract, and so on and so on. Be specific and don't be afraid to ask these questions. Because remember, not everything is covered in real estate school. Real estate school is designed to help you pass the real estate exam, and that's it. And also, there's no way that any real estate school can cover every single scenario. Which, by the way, if you're interested in getting some continuing education credits, or if you're watching this without being an agent already and are looking for an online real estate school, I'll link down below my preferred online real estate school that gives you a 15 to 40% discount. And speaking of support, you want to know what type of training you're going to receive when you join that brokerage. Is it going to be an orientation type training and that's it? Or will they have continual classes, either weekly, monthly, what have you, to improve your sales skills and also your lead generation skills? Hey, one quick second, I'll let you get right back to the video. As you can see, there's a lot that goes into selecting the right real estate brokerage, and it can also be a bit overwhelming. So be sure to share this video with anybody that you think can benefit from it. All right, so let's talk about reputation. This element is super important. You want to know if the brokerage that you're considering joining has a bad reputation or a good reputation in the neighborhood that you're going to be working. You certainly don't want to join a brokerage with a bad name in the neighborhood. That's like stepping on a landmine, so stay away from that. And one of the best ways to find out about the reputation of the broker is by auditing their Facebook pages, Instagram pages, Google pages, websites, and everything. You want to see the reviews. What type of comments are people leaving, and what type of reviews are people leaving on their pages? So not only are you looking at the brokerages page, but you're also looking at the broker and also looking at the other real estate agents in that office. And now, of course, we get to the expenses. We talked about the income structure, but we also need to look at the expenses, because it's not about how much you are making per transaction, it's how much you are getting to keep. So be sure that you ask about any possible fee that comes up. Is there a desk fee? Is there a franchise fee? What's the E&O cost? Do I have to pay the E&O up front, which is errors and omission, which you will have to pay at some point? The negotiation there is, do you pay it up front or per transaction? Be sure that you're asking these questions, because those fees do add up. Also, you have to take into consideration all those other resources that you may need to get on your own, whether that's a website and an integration to the IDX, or your CRM, that email autoresponder. What else do you have to get that you wouldn't have to get somewhere else? And if you want the calculator that helps you compare the differences between two brokerages, be sure to check out the link down below, where all you have to do is put in numbers in each brokerage and it's going to spit out a result for you. It's going to let you know how much you're actually keeping. Well, now that we know how to select the right real estate brokerage, it's time to learn how to actually get some business. So I'll leave a video right here that's going to help you do that. Also, if you found value today, please be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss another video. And of course, make it your best day yet.